because the Wizard of Oz is one, because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
I would have to say the scale of the production. We have around 130 people involved with this production, 60 cast members, that many production staff, designers. It's just a really big company.
Really big show. The Wizard of Oz is such a massive show. It's like over 100, like close to 150, which is a lot of people.
I love all the costumes and the dancing and the singing, and I love all the people that I get to work with while I'm in this show, because I don't think I would have gotten any other kind of experience to work with such a great director.
I actually started by reading the book, the original book, The Wizard of Oz, because I wanted to see, I had never read it. I may have read it, but I didn't remember reading it. I found inspiration from that in reading the story and really focusing on the story, and then being able to understand the characters through that. The concept is really based on, as I looked at the original illustrations, the early 1900s, I really felt that even the original illustrator had a lot of what we call now steampunk, which is the marriage of the Victorian age with the industrial age, and the idea of the steam engine, gears and industry with the heightened fashion. And I love that idea because I really saw the wizard living in that world and creating this world of industry around him. And as the industry of the Emerald City moves out into the area community, we see it kind of bleeding into the Munchkin land, into the Witch's land and the Winkies land, being influenced by this wizard, whoever he is, and how did he get there.
Much bigger scale. The set has to be bigger, brighter, more of a statement. The costumes have to be, bigger, and for the very last row to be able to see them. So everything's kind of on a bigger scale than usual. We also have a lot more people involved, and we fly in the show, so that takes in a lot of safety precautions, and a lot of communication has to happen to make sure that they're safe, because if something were to go wrong, it would be in our hands. And so
my initial inspiration was actually looking at Sarah Fort's costume designs from a class project that she did on The Wizard of Oz. And I loved the idea of the steampunk feel. It was very whimsical, and I thought fit very well with the Victorian age meets the industrial age.
Actually kind of funny, because that's the year before we even talked about doing Wizard of Oz as a costume design, and the final project was to pick a show and design part of the costumes, and I was like, oh, what if I did Wizard of Oz but steampunk? And so I actually started on it before I actually realized I was starting on it. And that's what I showed Miss Violet when we were first talking about, okay, I'd like to costume design the show, this is what I already did actually. I didn't keep all of those. There's one or two that I kept the same, but then I tailored it more towards what she wanted. But that's kind of funny. I started like a whole year before, and then I had all of the break of the winter break and everything to really work on it. I think I really found that I have a much bigger passion for the costume design world and also the makeup design world and the makeup application, which I was doing as well. And I found that that was really a very viable option for maybe my future. So that was really good to find out.
I think one of my most favorite moments in the last week and a half or 2 weeks has been actually seeing the costuming come together and seeing especially the monkeys, seeing them in flight. Sarah Ford is actually playing the head monkey Nico, and when she first went up into the flight harness and she was flown, that was just an amazing moment for me. And then when they had their wings on, and I've seen their costumes and the masks, it's just very magical, and I think they have really captured the essence of the concept.
Costumes for our monkeys, they all have leather jackets and these big giant wings that they wear that look really, really awesome when they're flying, because we do have 3 monkeys that fly. And so they're all different variations of the leather jacket or the leather vest and the wing. The winkies, which are the guards at the witch's castle, and they have the big giant purple capes covered in fur. This is our rack of Ozians, all the citizens of Oz, before they go and meet the wizard, and these are a couple of the dresses that'll be worn, and all of the different costumes, especially for the heavy dancers, and the coats, like this is one. And these are our jitterbug costumes. One of the biggest dance numbers is the bugs that get them to dance until they drop. And so they have these big giant shells on their backs. They look really cool when they're on. And they'll also be wearing gas masks, which should be around here somewhere. And then these are our Munchkin Ballet. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm assistant stage manager for the show. So I run around and do everything backstage, but I'm also helping the costume shop, and I've been designing Scarecrow. So that's everything that we do back here.
I tend to be a very visual director, so I start with a ground plan, so knowing where the scenic elements are is very important to me, so that I know where to place people, how they come in, how they go out. I like giving that information to an actor so they know where they stand on stage.
It's on! Well, we looked at millions, literally hundreds and hundreds of images on the internet to find the projection images to alter and then use for the backdrops. Since there are about a dozen locations that we go to, maybe, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 different locations. All of the colors I chose had to meld and work with those. And I've also had to work with the 2 prop artists, Kendra Ball and Abby Lill, who are coordinating the props to go with each set piece in each scene, so the whole thing looks like one world.
This is my first technical responsibility. You know, I'm just a freshman, but I've had a lot of fun learning how to do props, learning how to paint things. I've gained a lot of experience, and The Wizard of Oz is such a massive show. I was a little scared at first when Ms. Violet told me that I was going to be doing props, but it's turned out really well, and I'm so grateful for the experience.
I think one thing I really want to acknowledge is just the awesome work of like the props. Especially my favorite props is my axe. I have this really cool axe that Kendra and Abby, our prop mistresses, have done for me that actually is magnetic and attaches to my tin body. So that's really cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Honestly, not that I'm sitting in the costume shop or anything, but the costume designs and the work on the costumes and the way that it really balances out the look of the set and then the props and the look of everything, it's going to be a really visually awesome show to come see.
And it's exciting because David is not only a bundle of energy, but he has these innovative on-the-spot solutions for things, as well as having a master overview of how the whole show is going to work, where it's going to fit backstage, how the pieces will go together and how the colors need to fit. And he's really good at communicating. It's really a lot of fun.
I think the most exciting thing are going to be the projections on the back of the stage, helping out with the scenery, and they're so vibrant and a really cool addition to the scene work on the stage.
It's the gates you see in the second act. You have to hook the audience. We hook the audience in the tornado into Munchkin Land. If they buy that, and they should, because it's a scary, scary tornado. And they buy that, and they go on the journey all the way to Oz, and we turn the world green right before intermission. They're going to freak out. And as we open, the curtain goes up and the gates are there and Oz is there, I think we will have, okay, who rang that bell all the way through? I'm keeping these. I love these shoes.
I feel like I had a really good relationship with the choreographer, and she did a lot of work in her studio, and then she would show me the work and we would work through that just in meetings. And then when it got on its feet onto the stage, she was very willing to make adjustments. If I saw something that needed to move or someone needed to be on a certain side of the stage, she was incredibly accommodating, and that has just been an awesome experience. I was able to go to some of the music rehearsals, not all of them, and I had a pretty good open line of communication with the music director and the conductor. We worked through the score, I think we were all on the same page as far as where I saw the music going, what I wanted it to sound like in certain areas and that sort of thing.
Oh, the process took several months. It started in early fall. I got the score in hand, had to go through the whole score. I had to see what each song required, how many singers would be needed, the different styles, the tempo changes, being able to make sure that I could teach various types of singers. I thought about how I would explain musical terms to somebody who doesn't have a musical background, and I was prepared for that first rehearsal because of that preparation.
A thinner color, but very simple tone.
I guess the challenging aspect would be being a freshman, being a baby, coming into a Right Center production and just being with the best of the best. And I feel very honored, but also sometimes it's a little intimidating when you're in there and you wonder if you should sing out, but that's what you're there for. So I just feel very honored to be with the talented people I'm with.
But I have found it much more rewarding being able to watch the process from the other side. Because as a performer, unless it's being archivally videotaped, we don't get to see the performance, or unless you're double cast. So I think that's been the biggest joy for me, to be able to see it all come together and be able to be honest from the other side of saying, hey, that worked, this doesn't work, okay, great, congratulations, and now we're on the stage. I just love working with students of all ages, all backgrounds, coming together, trying to inspire them to love the show, help one another. I think that's been the best for me, to be able to lead them to the stage.
Set a line, poor neurotic lion, to a miss who listened to him rave. Oh, the Lord made me a lion, but the Lord forgot to make me brave. Then his tail began to curl and wave. Like a saddle leaping a sea, you're born to be a sissy without the bird. But
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. And my head might be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching if I only had rain. I'd unravel every riddle for any kid in the middle, it's trouble and pain.
With the thoughts you be thinking, you could be another Lincoln.
I have done a lot of work with children in theater, and almost over 20 years now, and it's really my passion. Any area of theater I love. Introducing children to theater, working with children in theater, allowing them to create in theater, I think it's vital. So I knew when I was given this opportunity to be the director for The Wizard of Oz, I immediately wanted to put children into the cast. And I guess the obvious place to put them is in Munchkin Land.
Yes, with the joyous news we spread, the wicked old witch at last is dead! Yeah!
So we did auditions for children, and they came and they sang and they danced and they read from the script. So we had a very professional audition for them, and we were able to cast 20. And I just think they're fabulous. They range from age 5 to I think 15. There might be a 16-year-old in there, but so I have a nice variety of age, and I think they have all really done a fabulous job. I think everyone will be very impressed with this cast.
I actually find that the children respond quicker sometimes than the adults. They're not as desensitized to the simplicity and the beauty of the show, rather than the adults or the college students who not only have the show, but have full-time student obligations and also outside jobs. So actually has been very rewarding working with the children. And I thought maybe the 5, 6, and 7-year-olds were going to be problematic, and actually they've been the strongest leaders, ironically. They are the ones who step forward and have the most courage.
Miss Byland came to me and asked if there was a specific crew position that I would like to be a part of for The Wizard of Oz, and I told her that I would love to be a part of working with the children's cast. It's been really great, and it's really interesting to see how the age range from 4 to 15, 16 is just extremely different, and how each of them have brought so many different things to the show and to the process, just with all their different types of artistic ability.
My mom said, do you want to do this? And I love acting and performing, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot.
My voice teacher told me about it because she works here at Samford, and that's where I take voice. So she told me about the show, and so she told me I should audition, so I did.
I was in Hansel and Gretel, and then she figured out about it on the Samford website, and she said, do you want to be the Wizard of Oz? And I was like, yeah.
I think the biggest difference is me getting to work with kids. It's really exciting, and I love working with the young minds and seeing how they just react to everything differently than I would.
Because I like flying monkeys.
Because you like flying monkeys.
And the Munchkins are pretty rad, so you should come see the Munchkins.
Well, the reason I wanted to do this was because I always wanted to be an actor, and I love dancing. So we heard about the costumes. It's gonna be all white, and we're gonna have like a scarf.
The poppies are the most intense. They like swing their umbrellas.
Yeah, I got heard. And their umbrellas instead of just the regular flowers they have in the
Yeah.
What I really liked about blocking this show was I have a tremendous principal cast, and they're very talented, and they know how to stand on stage. So I didn't have to teach them, they've learned that already. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Does anyone know where it is?
I passed a notice a while back.
You mean the one that said, welcome to the line? Well, the biggest thing I would say is we are performing in the Wright Center, but because of the Wright Center being such a popular performing space in the city of Birmingham, weren't able to perform or rehearse mainly in the Wright Center until later on. So it's been kind of an interesting thing going from rehearsing in Harrison Theater, which is also a great space, into the Wright Center, which has been really fun to see and like open up. And then
Why don't you use them? Next time you come home, don't go by Miss Gulch's place. Toto won't get her garden. You won't go get in any trouble, see?
The most challenging aspect has been trying to find the connection between the character of Anna and the character of Glinda, while also making them different because they're in two different worlds, but finding the similarities between the two.
Dorothy, we're trying to count.
Don't bother us now. Can you see this old thing?
Oh, well, is that the witch?
Okay, pause.
Say it's very relaxed, like anything goes. I mean, the director is very much open to ideas, and that's really nice when other directors just have it set in stone, but it's just a very open space and anything goes, and it's just very relaxed, and I love it.
I think adding in the aspect of working with a live dog has been really challenging, but also so fun in a new just aspect of the rehearsal process that none of us have ever worked with before. So it's been fun to learn how to act with other people, but also with an animal. So that was really interesting.
Oh, she must be the meanest old woman that ever was. Let's go tell Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. They'll take care of her.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
With Wizard of Oz, it's really hard to do a Wizard of Oz without flying. It's just not to the same standard, and you know, it's bigger and better if there's flying in it, and Glinda in her bubble and the witch flying in. It just makes it a higher standard for the show. So I was really excited because I knew the show would be better, but I also knew that that meant a lot of responsibility, a lot of extra work, and a lot of scary moments to make sure that everything happens according to plan with no mistakes. So we got trained exactly how to do everything step by step, and now our flight instructor is gone. We're on our own, so we're taking it very slowly, but things are working. It's working well. It's taking a little bit extra time because we're taking it slowly, but hopefully by opening night we'll be where we need to be with the flying, and everyone will feel safe doing it, and it'll just add to the atmosphere of the show.
It's like flying, like you always want to be able to do. It's really exciting because it's really thrilling. But when you're going up there, you want to know where you're going and you're looking everywhere, but you have to continue to act. And so it's like multitasking. Who wants to do that? And then like whatever, right? So yeah.
Well, I actually learned to fly yesterday, and it was very scary because I am terrified of heights. But it was really cool and really fun, and a really cool aspect of theater that I've never gotten to see before. I'm very sore because I held a lot of tension, but it was really fun and really cool.
There's one thing that's really a big deal is just the whole attitude of the friendship of the show and how the friends that we all work together on the stage, that we act like friends on stage, but we're such real close friends off stage, and it's never been that true other than this production for me. So that's been a really big deal about Wizard of Oz.
I love the people I'm in it with, and it's fun and it's great, and I hope people will come and see it, and yeah.
Thank you.
That's me! Haha! I've never worked with before, so it's been a good learning experience, and I think the show's I think you're gonna be able to see it.
It's awesome, and it's so magical, and I think it'll leave people with just this warm feeling, and it's just so entertaining. It's gonna be great.
Oh, we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here he is, the Wizard of Wiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever, oh, ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does.